So you just got your hands on a brand new PowerClean. You open the box, you see this amazing machine, and then you see that super thick technical manual. Feeling a little overwhelmed? Don't be. We're going to toss the jargon aside and turn that manual into a real-world guide. My goal here is to give you the confidence to use, maintain, and honestly, to master your new machine.
And there it is. Look at this thing. By the time we're done here, you are going to know this machine inside and out, from the plug all the way to the nozzle tip. We're not just going to show you how to turn it on, we're going to make you an expert operator, ready for pretty much any cleaning job you can imagine. So, how are we going to get you there? Simple. First, we'll do a proper introduction to your PowerClean. Then, and this is a big one, we'll go through the pre-wash checklist. After that, we'll get into the fun stuff, mastering the controls. Then, we'll cover proactive maintenance, and finally, wrap up with storage and a little troubleshooting. So, let's dive right in. All right, first things first, let's get you properly acquainted with the new PowerClean series. And let me tell you, this is way more than just a new coat of paint. The engineers have really rethought how these machines work, and more importantly, how you and I are going to work with them. You know, one of the biggest upgrades is this new focus on simplicity. This new generation has fewer parts, and what that means for you is just easier servicing. But here's the real game changer for maintenance. A lot of the parts are now cross-compatible between the 2.0 and the 5.0 models. So your service tech is way more likely to have the exact part you need right there on the truck.
The user-friendly upgrades really make a difference. The control panel, it's been simplified with these really clear LEDs, so you know the machine status in just a glance. A runtime meter is now standard, which takes all the guesswork out of your maintenance schedule. And in a really smart move for anyone who's upgrading, it's fully backwards compatible with your existing remote stations. Huge plus.
Okay, now for a super critical detail. Power. The 2.0 model, it runs on a standard 120-volt circuit. The bigger, beefier 5.0 needs a 240-volt hookup. But look at what they both have in common. This is the most important part. Both of them absolutely require a dedicated GFCI-protected circuit. That's a ground fault circuit interrupter. It's a safety device that could literally save your life. This is not a suggestion, folks. It's a must. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the foundation of everything else we're going to talk about: safety. Before you even think about plugging this machine in, we have got to walk through this pre-wash checklist. Getting this right is completely non-negotiable. Let me be perfectly clear about this. Every single step we're about to cover is mandatory. These are not just tips or, best practices. These are the rules, and they're designed to protect you, your team, and your investment in this machine. When you look at your machine, you're going to see these labels. They're a clear hierarchy of risk. Warning tells you about a potentially hazardous situation, okay? But when you see danger, that's a whole other level. That means the most severe hazards, the kind that will cause serious injury or even death if you ignore them. You have to know the difference. And if you need any more convincing, this is a direct quote from the manual. It doesn't pull any punches. Improper connection of the equipment grounding conductor can result in a risk of electrocution. Proper grounding isn't just a good idea, it is literally what stands between you and a fatal accident. So let's lock this in. Here is your simple, non-negotiable electrical safety checklist. 1. The outlet must be GFCI protected. 2. The unit must be grounded. 3. Inspect that power cord for any damage before every single use. 4. Keep your connections dry and up off the ground. And 5. Never, ever, ever touch the plug with wet hands. Please commit this to memory.
All right, deep breath. We've got our safety foundation firmly in place, which is awesome. So now let's get to the fun part, making this machine do exactly what you want it to do. This section is all about harnessing its power and getting those perfect results. So first up, you need to know what kind of system you have. If you're walking up to the machine itself and turning dials for power and chemicals, you've got a standalone system. Easy enough. But if you're using a panel on the wall, that's a central system. And here's the key thing for all you central system users. You got to remember that the main power switch on the unit itself has to be on for any of those remotes to work. Now this is how you really control your cleaning power. Your PowerClean comes factory set to a target PSI, but here's the secret. That pressure is directly tied to the size of the nozzle you're using. See here? The 2.0 model hits 1350 PSI with a size 3.0 nozzle. If you swap that out for a different size, guess what? Your pressure's going to change. This is the key to fine-tuning your machine for delicate jobs or for really tough grime. Look, you've made a really significant investment in this machine, so let's talk about how to protect it.
Proactive maintenance. It's not a chore. It's the absolute key to making sure this thing has a long life and performs at its best. A few minutes of prevention now will save you hours of headaches and expensive repairs later on. I want you to think of this as your daily 60-second pre-flight check. It's that fast. First, just glance at the oil sight glass. The level should be right in the center of that red dot. Next, give the hoses and the spray gun a quick scan for any visible cracks or damage. And then, once a week, just walk over and hit the test button on your GFCI outlet. That's it. You're done. Okay, pay close attention right here because not all oil is the same. The manual is crystal clear. You must use General Pump Industrial Pump Oil Series 100. Using anything else isn't just a bad idea. It will flat out void your warranty and can cause some catastrophic damage to the pump. This is one rule you really can't break. All right, now for your quarterly tune-up. Every 180 hours or so, you're going to want to replace that water filter. This just guarantees the pump is getting nice, clean water. At the same time, go ahead and flush the chemical screens to prevent clogs. And if you live in an area with hard water, flushing the pump with a deliming agent is the secret to stopping that mineral buildup that just kills performance. So, we've covered daily operations and all the routine maintenance, but what about the what-ifs? Let's get into our final section, where we'll tackle long-term storage and what to do when things don't go exactly as planned. This is one of the most common questions we get, especially for those of you in colder climates. You can't just park the PowerClean in the garage and forget about it till spring. So, what's the right way to put it away for the winter? The number one enemy of any pressure washer during storage is freezing water. It's that simple. Water expands when it freezes, right? And that expansion can crack the pump, the fittings, the lines. It can lead to total catastrophic failure. The solution is simple though. You have to winterize it. And the process is surprisingly easy. First, just turn off the water supply. Then, run the machine with the trigger pulled open until that tank is completely empty. Next, fill the tank up with a good antifreeze solution. And finally, run the machine one more time with the trigger open until all of that antifreeze has cycled through the whole system. That's it. Your machine is now totally protected from the cold. And there you have it. From the key features and critical safety rules to mastering the controls and taking care of your investment, you are now fully equipped to get the absolute most out of your PowerClean. You're not just an owner anymore, you're an expert. So really, the only question left is, what's the first big job you're going to go tackle?